Oshio. Welcome to the Happy to Be Nappy show, yo. And I am your host, Chieftainess Iskatani, how to push ni takomi, which means little butterfly under the what? Moonlight. I have a very special guest here, and this is Yahulu Miko. And as you can see, I'm going to turn around so you can see who Yahulu Miko is. And just move this little tree out the way, so you could see who Yahulu Miko is. Okay? So that's Yahulu Miko, Creek Indian. Let me show you right here where it says the Creek Indian Trail. I'm here in Eufaula, Alabama, which most of the people in Alabama know that they're American Indian. They know that they're either Muskogee, Creek. They know all their indigenous, they Cherokee, that they Chickasaw, Choctaw, they know. Okay? So let's rewind and go forward unto the election that's about to happen. Okay? Our people are under the false names. As long as you're going under Black and African American, you have no rights. You have no rights. You are state property, okay? You, there's nothing on the plate for you, especially under this current administration, as you can see. But what I want to say is also that the corporation has been dismantled. The gig is up since 2020. You know, America's corporation has been dismantled, and most people don't know that. So when you see all these people coming over the border, it's nothing they can do. It's absolutely nothing, because these people are from Central America, South America. They're Americans like we are. They are toxin. They're original people of their land, just like we are. It's so funny how people want to tell you that you're African American and African. And if you just go back and watch televisions in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and the 60s when I was born, there was no mention of us being any African American or African at all. We wasn't talking about it. We didn't know nothing about it. And our great-great-grandparents and our great-grandparents was always telling us our tribal affiliation. It's just like you'll hear people say, yeah, my grandma was Cherokee. My grandma was Choctaw. My grandma was Yamasee. My grandma was Muskogee. So what are you? You never hear Asians saying, oh, my grandma was Asian. You never hear a Caucasian say, oh, my grandma was European. So what are you? You are what your ancestors are. That's who you are. But the thing is this, the whole world knows who we are. And our people are under this whole Black, with the whole election, with this woman that's not really a woman. We know she's not. And they're going hard for somebody they don't even know. You're arguing, you're fussing, you're fighting with each other. It's like sports. I might like the New York Knicks. You might like the LA Lakers, right? But we have that. You have your own choice of what team you like in sports. The same thing with politics. I don't vote because this is my land, and why would I vote when we're being colonized? If you realize that you are colonized, then something is definitely wrong with you, okay? We under big time colonization worldwide. There's not one country free, okay? You remember South Africa? Nobody couldn't tell them they wasn't South African. Nobody said, oh, prove, take a genealogy, take a DNA test. A DNA test does not prove anything. You have to do your genealogy, which is data records from your ancestors. Like my great-great-grandparents, they came in the 1800s, 1700s. They were in South Carolina. They were Gullah Geechee, Yamasee, and Cherokee. They left. We were prisoners of war. They left there, and guess where they went? They went to Florida. That's how they became Seminoles. Because Seminole mean you was running away from a situation because you didn't want to be in that situation. So that's where the whole term Seminole came from. But this is the thing with our people. They're calling themselves black. The government labeled you black. We've had paper erasure, okay? Strictly paper erasure. All right? We've been erased through paper. Everybody knows that we're the toxin original people of this land. Unfortunately, our people have been so brainwashed that anything that you tell them, they want to go back and forth. Even our family members. Like people going crazy. Like they have so much evidence of Kamala Harris locking up people. There's a woman that has gone viral with her daughter had sickle cell. She was very ill, and Kamala started locking up parents because of truancy. And this is why the whole school, Rockefeller, J.D. Rockefeller invented going to school. And the whole purpose of school is so you don't think for yourself. Because remember, when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to raise your hand. Just get up and go to the bathroom and come back. Why do you have to raise your hand? It's all a part of colonization and oppression. And people think because they have a house, they have a car, they got material things, they feel that they are free. But you're not. You're under colonization. Like I said with South Africa, you couldn't tell those people they wasn't South African. You didn't have to say to them, oh, prove you're South African. Those people fought, and fought until they got those people off their land. We have to do the same. The same here, but our people are so divided because a religion who was brought in by the colonizer. Jesus ain't nobody but Zeus, the god of war and destruction. Jesus never shows up, like I always tell you. The only Jesus that show up for me is my client, my happy to be nappy client, Jesus. And he's Taino, Puerto Rican, and no, he's Taino. Okay, shout out to Rosie Perez, always was talking about being Taino. She never talked about being Puerto Rican. She always talked about her Taino ancestors in Puerto Rico. See, once you know who you are, my mother always said that to me. And this is why I'm so happy that my father's going to be 82 on Friday. My mother already turned 83 in May. And my mom's biggest quote was, you are mentally, you guys are mental slaves. Because as long as these people are telling you what to do, how to do it on your land, you're a slave. My mom always told us that this was modern day slavery. And as a child, I didn't understand or understand what she was saying, but now I get it. I get it to the point where I know she was on point. She was on point in every sense of the word. She was on point. Now when they get older, they get into the politrics, they get into all that stupid stuff. You know, they don't know who to vote for. I just say don't vote because they're going to put in office who they want. But right now, there's so much going on because the treaties with Central America and South America with North America is happening, and that's why these people are coming. They may influence you that they're gangs, they're this, they're that, but they know because they're coming for the land to solidify everything. Because all people of color that look like me, they all know that they're ancient to North America, South America, and Central America, which is a continent. America is the old world, one of the oldest. I'm here in Eufaula, Alabama. I'm like 30 minutes from the Providence, Grand Canyon, which is in Lumpkin, Georgia. 5 caves, Grand Canyon. That's where our ancestors once dwelt. I'm 30 minutes from the Kolamuki mounds. I mean, 77 steps, huge mounds. When you get to the top, Alabama has the Blue Springs. I go to the Blue Springs with waterfalls, the same in Florida. America is so ancient. Unfortunately, the people have been brainwashed, including my family members. Because I'm not arguing over no Trump. I'm not arguing over no Kamala We don't know either one of them personally. I do know this, that Trump was helping Jesse Jackson when he was running for president. I do know that Trump gave all black businesses when they needed loans, there was Trump. He gave them, and then when they went to pay him back, he said, invest it in your business. I do know that Mike Tyson, uh, he worked with Trump. I do know that there's about 28 rap songs with Trump name, because remember, Trump was a businessman. Remember, America was for Trump until they asked him to come president to take down the sex traffickers and the pedophiles that he's been talking about. There's 50,000 clones in America. Most of them that you see, the Obamas, Michael Obama, all of them have been taken down. All you're seeing down is clones. Just like they went after Puff Daddy. Remember his campaign? Vote or die. What happened, Puffy? Now they're coming for you. They're also going to come for Jay-Z. He's next. They're coming for all these people that they use. They just use you and throw you away. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Prince. Look at all of them. And then they're going back with the timeline, okay? Because James L. Earl Jones already passed, okay? Frankie Beverly already passed. And people don't remember anything because they're always on their phones. So they're going backwards with the timeline to keep you distracted from what's going on. And then when you tell people, I don't argue with ignorant people mentally ill, because most of the people are mentally ill. They don't have a clue what's going on. And it's really, really despicable. You know, even my family. Like, I don't put up videos about my family. Most of these people got the jab and they're losing their minds because they are no longer 9-ether beings, okay? They now have mRNA instead of DNA. They have mRNA, and they also have a chip that they can turn up and out. And so many people that I've known that have taken that jab have suddenly just body broke down, they're gone. I just want to say to people out there, you just need to learn to think for yourself. Do your research. We got so many young people like debunking all the lies, showing everything. We once had our own money. We had everything. We've been here for a long, long time. We indigenous to this dirt. The dirt here is copper color, just like me. Copper. Brown, just like me. And I don't get it. You call Caucasian looking people brown and call us black. They're tan. How we're black and they're tan. Okay? We're not black. We're brown with beautiful brown eyes. We're brown. But as long as you take these reclassification names, calling yourself black, you're 3/5 of a human being according to the Constitution, you're state property, you have no rights, you're a color code. When the cop pull you over, you're like, oh, I have a black child, my black son, you're going to be treated in that manner. But once you know this is your land and you're a toxin to this land, and you start talking about your tribal affiliation, it's a whole different thing. My sister had sent me, you know, because she's on this Kamala, all this crap. Girl, you American Indian, you Yamasee, you Blackfoot, you Gullah Geechee, you Seminole, you Mohawk, Mohegan, okay? Why would you be going so hard when this is not your fight, this Politrics? They took over your land and made their own government. We had our own government way prior. So she sent me, because you know I just be debunking the lies about Kamala, the take off the woo and you got the man. And so she was like sending me something about Kamala and Joe Biden had they had made some lynching act, right? The lynching act. Didn't you see that brother got lynched recently? Right after she sent anything she sends to me, she DM'd me. I put a laugh on it. I just laugh at it because I'm not going to argue with you. You know, I'm living my best life. I'm not going back and forth with you because your ignorance is their power over you. I get you work for one of the biggest unions, 1199, and you guys promote Democrats. I get that. There's a lot of people that their jobs promoted. That don't mean you have to do it. That don't mean you have to um, vote for them. You can play the game. You can play the game to win. You could pretend that you are, but you ain't got to go out there. All you're taking is a census, because the college electoral vote is what counts. And right now, they want the worst person in office, just like Obama did nothing. He was the first gay president. Joan Rivers, after she said we already have our first gender with Michelle, she showed up dead, having a simple surgery the next week. So you guys got to start thinking for yourself. Stop being so gullible for athletes, for politicians, entertainers. Be gullible and loving for your ancestors. Because if it wasn't for your ancestors, we wouldn't be here. Our ancestors, the most greatest. Look up the Gullah Geechee War. Look up the Yamasee Uprising in 1700s. We were just like It Haiti. Shout out to Chief Voodoo. He be going hard. Chief Voodoo, he be bringing it. He debunks all the lies. Origine sounds. The earth speaks. There's so many of them that are debunking the lies. And if I didn't say your name, it's so many of you, but we all know you're all doing great things. We know that, and continue. You know, it's a spiritual war right now. We're going through a spiritual war. You see where I hang out with the trees. I hug the trees. I talk to the trees. Do you know that the trees make sounds? There's an apparatus that you can get and connect it, and the trees make music. We are connected to the trees. The trees love us. I always come to this Indian trail, and I hang out with the trees. I hug the trees. I talk to the trees, and I'm always walking barefoot, grounding ourselves. Tonight is an amazing moon. It's a full moon, eclipse moon, one that's just going to realign you, because we are connected to the sun, the moon, and the stars. That's what our ancestors did. They didn't worship no Jesus, which is Zeus, which is the god of destruction and war. We didn't do that. We were in tune with Mother Earth. That's why when you go to Georgia and you go to the Grand Canyon, because they're not going to let you go to the other Grand Canyon. That one got too much evidence. Just like in Reno, Nevada, they're hiding so much from us. We're the most powerful people on the planet. The CIA just revealed some documents, but you guys don't read. You want everything given to you visually. You don't go and do your research. So they had some documents just reveal that you and I are gods and goddesses. But we know that. But they water you down with religion. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Seventh-day Adventist, it's all the same. The Jewish people know, everybody know. There was no slave trade. They took us from here to the West Indies. Then they took us over to Africa. And that's how they end up developing Liberia. Okay, it was the other way around. The whole Atlantic, we are the people of Atlantic. We are the original Egyptian, because Egypt is here in the Americas, okay? There's more pyramids in North, South, and Central America than over in Africa, okay? And why they keep finding mummies, they keep finding more mounds, more pyramids, they keep finding everything. We're in the age of truth for 2,153 years. Okay, so the truth is just going to keep coming. The American corporation has been dismantled. Their time is up, and they know it. And they're doing everything in their power. Did you see the latest about the whole pandemic, scandemic? They're saying now the whole time that the 19 COV was part of the flu. But that's how they gave it to the people, through the flu, okay? When you took that flu shot, you end up you tested positive for it, okay? Now they're saying it's the flu. It was all a charade to agenda depopulation, 5 million people. And I think they did get the 5 million people because The people were so fear. They put fear into you. They operate off of fear mongering. So once you're fearful, that's how they get you. Okay? That's how they get you. They get you through fear. Look at this here. I'm just seeing this here in this park. This Indian Trail, when I tell you it's deep, I just want to zoom in and show you something real quick. You see that? And then down there, you see that clay? You see that clay, what I'm talking about? You see? That's our skin complexion. That's our skin tone. This park has so much deep history in it. Look at the hole. There's actually a hole down there. Look at that. Look at that. See that? There's a lot of sacred places. I didn't realize how beautiful Alabama was, so I came here. And I'm right across the bridge from Georgetown, Georgia. So I'm always over there. I just over the bridge, and I'm in Georgetown, Georgia. But I see so many things that most of our people, they don't see. Now I can show you that hole from a different angle. Watch this. Look at that hole. Okay. When I tell you this Indian Trail is so beautiful, the trees, and I see the eagles, they be at the top of these trees. Sometimes I come in here because it's an Indian Trail you could walk. And when I come in here, and it's also an exercise park as well, and it's just amazing. But I do, when I look up, there is the eagles at the top of the trees. The eagles know who we are. Our ancestors have done so much great things for us. When people say, oh, Trump is going to put us back 100 years, let me tell you something. 100 years ago, my great aunt, she lived to 102. Rest in power to my aunt Dada. She was my father's sister. They were from Louisville, a.k.a. Louisville, Georgia. And she would always say, we Geechee, okay? Her mother always told us, shout out to my great-grandmother, Granny, Grandma. She would always say, we are American Indian. Okay, they was from Louisville, Georgia. And she would say, we are Indian. She told us from young, and she lived to be 94, and her daughter lived to be 102. They were farmers. They had their own cotton fields. They were sharecroppers. They had their own tractor trailers, everything. So 100 years ago, our people were doing well. When people say that ignorance, they're going to put us, we were doing better 100 years than we're doing now. Because let me tell you, you're a victim of modern slavery with modern technology, which is this apparatus that I'm speaking to you with. Because without this, you don't pay you're not able to pay your bills. You're not able to do anything without this apparatus, this cell phone, which was invented by our people once again. So you're modern day slaves with modern day technology. Simple as that. And then we see our own children, like my son, so many other sons and daughters turning against their mothers, just doing evil, vindictive, deceitful things because they got that fake money. Money is not real. It's not real. And people think it's real. It's not real. Land is the birthright. When you got a mortgage and you think because you got 4, 5, 6 properties, you think you done came up. Let me tell you, this country has $1 trillion debt. If they want to pay their debt, people that have those mortgages and houses, they're going to come for it. Just like 2007, the market crashed. Remember all the houses, people lost everything. You don't think it's going to crash again? Because it's a game. It's a game. You're better off purchasing land, building greenhouses, and feed the people. Because food is a priority. That's not GMO'd. That's not because their biggest goal is to poison you with the food and the water, and of course with the technology. Most people are sleeping. They're like bears, like they went into hibernations. They're just so asleep. Even the animals have more consciousness than we do. I mean, they got us good. We're nowhere aware. Most of my family, friends, I just stopped talking to people because they trust in all these oppressors. You are being colonized and don't even know it and refuse to come out of your colonization. You know, you sit there, you quiet. Our ancestors was warriors. I mean, shout out to my Yamasee warriors. Shout out to my Gullah Geechee warriors. We fought to the end because you rather die for something than sit up here and live for nothing, because you just letting everything going on. You don't look, you don't research, you don't realize calling yourself Black and African American, your state property. And there was a doctor from Africa, and she was saying it recently. She was like, the whole world had melanated, carbonated people that look like us, not only in Africa, everywhere. She was like North America, South America, Central America, Asia. The original Asians look like me with chinky eyes, okay? But the ones that you see now are related to the Caucasians. They're the same people. And the ones that's calling themselves Native Americans today are from Siberia, the Siberian Strait, and their people are telling on them. And then there's so many Caucasians that paid $5 to become a Native American, and they call them $5 Indians. Their children now are coming out and saying, my dad, my mom is a $5 Indian. The truth is unstoppable. You can't stop the truth because we in the age of truth for 2,153 years. We came into the age of truth in 2012. And since then, everything has been a huge awakening. All I could tell you that this great eclipse that's coming tonight, I always do my full moon ritual. I will be there. I will be a part of it, and I will shift up to the next frequency because I know I'm a 9 ether being. I know that I come from the star Sirius B. I know that I'm a spiritual being having a living life experience. Okay, I know that. Most people don't. So that's why I don't be bothered with a lot of people, because they are so brainwashed that it's just, it don't make sense even talking to them because you're just going to waste your time. It's just a waste of time. But I want to record all this, so when it all goes down, don't call me a prophet. People were calling me a conspiracy theorist back in 2020, and then everything that I said manifested, and then they put up on Facebook, stop calling us conspiracy theorists. The word you're looking for is spoiler alert. And then they put by Chieftainess Iskatani how to push Kigni Takomi. I've been knowing about so much of this stuff forever since, for so much, because I've been on it since like 2000, I'm gonna say 2011 when I started really going deep. 2007, I started knowing about the UCCs and, you know, how your birth certificate, how they had, you know, same thing with that, how they can call Department of Child Services on you. Because when you sign your birth certificate, you're signing your birth certificate over to the state. That's why I told my daughter she had to make a public announcement, then run it in the paper for 4 weeks, get it notarized, and then send it to the head of DCF, because then they have no jurisdiction over you. But when you tell people this, it's like when you get married. You award to the state. You don't go and do it. Everything you will be that if you don't use your divine intelligence. And shout out to my Aunt Ida, who I love so much in New York, my mother's sister. She's 84 years young. She always said, most people don't have common sense. They're educated fool, got all these degrees, master's degrees, PhD. They don't have common sense. Just like in a debate, Kamala was wearing an earring hearing device, and they were feeding it to her, and Obama talked about it, okay? So everything is a masquerade. It's a movie. It's not real. You think it's real because you have material things. But let me tell you, I'm a recycled ancestor. My spirit came back, and I will continue to come back. Even in a spacecraft, they're saying who they look like, us, the so-called African American, which we're not. Like that doctor from Africa said. She said, she said, I have to catch myself because you guys are not African Americans. We're not. We're ancient. We recycle ancestors. We are the ancient ones of ancient Tamerica, okay? Tamarica, Tamerica. My shout out to my great 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 grandmother Laura Means and my great great grandfather David Means of the 1800s. They named their firstborn America. Now, why did they name her? And it's spelled America because they're from here. They named her America. They named their son Thomas and Williams, and then my great grandmother was Ida Means. Okay, so all these names that we have, these are our toxin. They had us thinking these were slave names. No, these are our toxin names. We've been so brainwashed about the whole slavery, the whole underground movement, all this stuff. And then even with social media, it's nothing but a lot of propaganda, a lot of propaganda. So I will say this to you, do your own research, call on your great ancestors, call on your great spirit guides. They come to me when I started doing my research and found out. I never knew my mother, her mother, shout out to my grandmother, Cora Lee Cheney, which her mother was Ida Cheney, who was born Ida Means. My grandmother, she transitioned when my mother was 12, and my aunt Ida was 13. Their older siblings had to help, they had to raise each other themselves. And then her father transitioned when she was 18. My mother didn't know that she knew about Ida. She thought her name was Ida Mae Cheney, but she was Ida Means. She didn't know that Ida Means' mother was Laura Means, and her father was David Means. Of course, my cousins, a lot of my cousins, their name is David. We have names, we didn't know about them, but I did my research. You got to go deep and just do data records because they attempt to destroy everything, but they can't because our ancestors have risen and they're rising through us. I'm just a recycled ancestor, a free spirit that came back to set the record straight. I'm here through my ancestors. That's why I'm telling you all of this. The election is fake. Everything you see is fake. Under half of these grounds, there's underground cities and everything. Underneath the water, there's underground cities and everything. But you guys are so hooked on sports and entertainment. You just want to be entertained. You don't want to go do your research and see what's really going on. And that's why they're poisoning the water and poisoning the food. And most of the people are just walking around brain dead. So brain dead, because when you put your child into the school system, they have jurisdiction over you. When you sign over your birth certificate, they have jurisdiction over you. And I'm just happy that I'm free mentally. That's the most, like when they don't have your mind, they don't have your spirit, they don't have your soul. I'm here in Eufaula, Alabama, feathers up, all these Caucasians and Asians and people from India, because they're not Indian, they're Hindu. They're Hindu. And my son's father is Jamaican. His mother was from India, which is Hindu. He's like Kamala Harris, my grandson. My son, his grandmother is from India. He's been to India. They're Hindu. They're not Indian, but it was called India Superior. If you go and do your research, that's why they do Hindu. They're Hindu. They dress up with everything because they know. Kamala knows. She with all this black stuff, everything, they're debunking all her lies. She was like, there's no troops nowhere. The troops was live, showed her talking. They said, so where the hell are we? And they over in some country. Everything that she do, but our people are so brain when they looking for somebody to give them hope. You give your own self hope. How could a woman that you don't even know give you hope? Okay? Like Jesse Jackson with the Keep Hope Alive. And he was the main one that Jesse Sellout Jackson that was walking around with a freaking Cherokee tribal card and got down with the get down to relabel us once again, reclassification with the African. Okay? If anybody that's African, JD Snakes, TD Snakes, he's Nigerian. Okay? You don't know nobody that got Jakes in our family. You could look at his features and see. Most of the people that they pick to be these big pastors of churches, they're perpetuating the propaganda. That's why their churches get so much money. Church and state work together. Church and state. That's why you go get married in the church. Okay? It's all a fraud and it's coming down. Our ancestors are here. Ancestors, 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 rise up now. Rise up, ancestors, rise up. Trees, water, stars, moon, sun. Because that's our God. Amen Ra means the sun. I get out, I get my 15, 20 minutes of sun. The sun is your God, because without the sun, you can forget it. So the brainwash has to stop. You guys have to stop being so brainwashed, but you're not. It says, many will be called, but few will be chosen. I am one of the chosen few because I know the truth and I don't get caught up in the bamboozle. And I have to watch that movie because I watched it years ago and I didn't get it with the Wanings, who know they are toxic indigenous. But all those 90 shows, all that comedy, they perpetuated and promoted the 90s propaganda with the whole Africa. Look at Spike Lee's movie. Many of his movies are, what was it? It wasn't Do the Right Thing. It was Class, the college one, where he did. And you see that scene with Larry Fishburne and the brother that I love, the Taino Puerto Rican brother, and he was like, "We're in the, get away from us with that African, Africa stuff, back to Africa." He said, "Well, I'm from Detroit." He said, "We were born here." He said, "You so African, take your African monkey behind back to Africa." You see in a lot of movies, and Spike Lee movies had, because me and Spike Lee is related. His great-grandmother and them is Sheltons, I'm a Shelton. When I did my research, there was not, the last name wasn't really Shelton, it was Sheaton. They added the L, okay? And then when you looked up Sheaton, Sheaton was the people agriculture. You know, in the 1900s and 1920s, we had over 20 million acres of land. Now, how was we slave? I'm trying to figure out now. My daughter went to a HBCU school in the 1800s. How was we slaves? I just did research in Tuskegee University. Shout out to my besties, Monica Esperanza, who just inherited her dad's church, and so now she's reverend. But her dad told her, Monica, because she was ready to move to Africa, and her dad told her before he transitioned, Monica, our ancestry is right here. He said, go find the mounds. And after he took his last breath and transitioned, she went and found the mounds. She's been on it ever since. We have to know that people that look like me and you was all around the world, not just from Africa. And Africa was not called Africa. It was called Akibulan, okay? And Ethiopia, if you're talking about that Bible, Ethiopia and Egypt and Lebanon is mentioned in the Bible. There's no such word as Africa in there, okay? And then when you see all the late explorers writing, they said that we look like the Ethiopians, okay? They didn't say nothing about no Africa. They said we favorite the people from Africa. The Ethiopians know we're not the same. The Africans know that we are not the same. I have O blood, O negative. O negative links you to this land. Ancient original to the Americas. O negative, O positive. When you see people A, that's for the Asians. The B, A and B is over there in Africa and Europe. Those people have A and B. The Moors play a serious role in this too. Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad was American Indian. Farrakhan knows. His wife is American Indian. All these people know, but they be shucking and jiving, playing a part to get the money, and the money ain't real. If you go on any of my platforms, you go and you see, I show you, we had our own money, and guess what? We was on the money, agriculture, farming. We are the original agriculture people. We were the maintenance keeper of Mother Earth. Okay, we were totally connected. The animals know who we are. They know. It's unfortunate you don't know because you're so brainwashed and you won't pick up a book. They got books that's 30, 40, 50, 60,000, even more money than that, 200 and something thousand, because it has everything about us. And the next generation, that's all you see them doing right now, is telling the truth. This, look, Chris Brown, Paul Monkey Tribe, Snoop Dogg, Mos Def, Cherokee, Waka Flocka Flan, they're all coming out, okay? They're all coming out. Ice Cube now realized, thanks to Dan Calloway, but shout out to Kuramio, Kurimeo. I've been watching him since 2011, telling the world that the African American and the Black Americans are the indigenous, autochthon, original people, are the real American Indians. And I mean, he looks straight, brown skin, Chico, everything. He's from Central America. That brother, he even did a video of us, put us in his video in 2019 when we did the Hitchachee, Chiahe, Okmulgee Creek Nation gathering where 7 to 8 tribes came together. And we even had the Hebrew Israelites, because they are part of the 12 tribes. They are indigenous to this land, and they know. So they tribe came, and it was a very beautiful ceremony in Adams Park. So if you go to Kurameo, and then I also posted up too, all right? Because everything I'm saying, I'm just like Malcolm X. I met Malcolm X when I was a child, 62 years young. And my shout out to my uncle that's 92. He was right hand man to Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad. I knew Farrakhan when he's Farrakhan X, and he played the violin. I go way back like click clacks. You won't even know what click clacks is. It's a little apparatus you go up like this with 2 balls and it go click, 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 click. That's click clacks. I played double dutch. I go back in New York. We had the Tomahawk Nations. We had all the gangs back then were all using American Indian names. Y'all don't go watch TV. We've been rapping since the 1930s. No hip hop. The Nigerians want to say hip hop came from Nigeria. Bruh, no. Jazz, everything that we have come from here. We're the soul people. We are the origines, the original people of this land. And you guys know it, okay? Y'all need us so y'all could come over here, because if Africa's so great, like I keep saying, why y'all coming over here by the droves? Why y'all want to come here, have babies with us, want to be with y'all if y'all so superior to us? When your bloodline is A, B, and any African that got old blood, they were taken from here and taken over to Africa. They took them through the West Indies, then to Europe, then to Africa. Because when you go to Europe, they're right close to Africa. But most people don't travel, so you don't know. I've traveled the world. I've been to Asia, I've been to Africa, I've been to Europe, and I've been to Central America. I've been to North America, born here, original North American, and now I'm going to South America. If you go to Colombia, they look like us. You go to Peru, they look like us. You go to Argentina, they look like us. And they are doing their best to erase us. You know how many people that hit me up on social media asking me, inviting me to their countries because they want me to show, because they know they're showing the world. We're woke. We have awakened. The sleeping giant has risen. And 2024, the end of this year, next month, there's going to be so much exposure. Y'all going to say, oh my goodness, she told us. So much is going down. They're going to expose everything. They're going to expose all these. They're taking them down now. Like I told you, there are 50,000 clones walking around. You don't see George Bush. You don't see McCain. His daughter told you that her father was executed. You don't see any of the Bushes. They all been executed. All the popes, Queen Elizabeth, been executed. All this, there's been so many execution. That was what the pandemic, scandemic was about. They shut down the world to take down all these pedophiles. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, is still alive. Okay, he had all the tapes. He's not dead. Okay, Oprah Winfrey has a tracking device. Ellen DeGeneres has a tracking device. Eddie Murphy, all of them was a part of it. Okay, they all was a part of it. And if you go to my page on Facebook, somehow they let it up because they was calling me a conspiracy theorist. And there's a video of going down in a rabbit hole, and they show you all these people, Beyonce, Jay-Z, all clones. They have been executed. Pharrell, executed, so many of them. But we so starstruck that we believe, B-E-L-I-E, belied, okay, V-E, okay? I know that I'm a toxin to this land. I know I'm original by my original O negative blood, one of the rarest. Only 7% of us have it. Go look it up. So I'm ancient like the sun. I am one of the ancient ones. I know who I am, and my ancestors are so pleased. And every time I go to the Kolomuki Mound, when I go to the 5 caves in Georgia, in Lumpkin, Georgia, prominent, when I go to the springs, where I go to all these places that our ancestors once dwell, my frequencies get higher. When I found out that my great-grandparents were the Means, like Russell Means, who shriveled up like a whole raisin, he transitioned in 2012 because he was promoting the lie and stuff, and he was another one. Okay, there's a Native American guy telling the truth that they stole our language, everything. They was down with Walter Pleckler, Alex Idris, and there's another one. Walter Pleckler, Alex Idris, and Melville Herkovitz. They're the ones, those 3 dangerous men, changed our names. They gave our identity to the Caucasians and the Asians. You can look up Walter Plecker. Unfortunately, we were born the same day, March 29th. You can look them up. You will find out. And Marcus Garvey was an agent. You'll see him a lot of pictures back in the days. That's why when he came with the Star Footliner back to Africa, Negro, you're maroon. Okay, the ancient people of Jamaica. They're Arawak and Taino in the West Indies. Okay, that's why when they came to New York in the 70s, they were called West Indians. And why they have every year on Labor Day in New York, the West Indian Day Parade, and they dress up with feathers and paint all over them. Why, if you come from Africa? Akibulan. Okay? The gig is up. We're in the age of exposure. There's going to be so much exposure happening. And you don't have to be a fearmonger. Just call on the power of your ancestors because they are here. They're back to get their land back. They're coming. And I'm a recycled ancestors. They're vibrating through me. And I am very honored and respect to my great ancestors. I don't worship no politician, but the Politrics, I don't care about Trump nor the other man, Kamala. I don't care about any of them. I care about my great ancestors, my ancestry, my Muskogee, my Gullah Geechee, my Yamasee, my Blackfoot, my Mohegan, my Mohawk, my great-great-grandfather and Salika, who I just found out, my great-grandmother Salika, that name means she's the goddess of North America. I don't know anybody with that name, Salika. She sat on her hair, I sit on my hair. When I take my hair down, I sit on my hair. They didn't want to be under the label of black. Negro, and colored. So they went on a reservation. Reservation ain't nothing but a plantation. So they went on a reservation and they were being abused in Virginia. So they left Virginia, they left the reservation, and they headed to Harlem. Same thing with my grandmother. Her name I saw when I did my research. Her name was Mata, M-A-T-H. These are all ancient names. Beulah, Bertha, these are all ancient Autochthon names. They added the R, Martha, okay? She, my grandmother, my father's mother, her family, her grandmother, which is my grandmother, Grandma Shelton, okay? They all, Grandma Shelton and them, came to Harlem because of the same thing was happening to them in Virginia. So on my father's, both sides of the family, my dad, mother, and my dad's father's great-grandparents and parents were from Virginia. My mother, which they didn't know, they just thought they were from Virginia, and they thought they were from, no, they, on my mom's side, they thought they were from just Florida and Georgia. They didn't realize that my mom, her mom's family, was originally from South Carolina, and then they left as Seminoles and went to Florida, okay? Her father, my father, Haywood Walker, from Louisville, Georgia, they were from Georgia, okay? They were the Gullah Geechees, also Yamasees and Cherokee, and they was warriors. They were the Davises before they became Walkers. Okay, all these names, everything is ancient. You have been bamboozled. We need to watch every movie because it's in plain sight. You will see for yourself. Movies are not for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They have so much to tell you, so much hidden truth, but you want to be entertained. Just like the election is just an entertainment because the United States Corporation no longer exists. The White House is up for sale. It's all a big propaganda. And until you start claiming who you are, because we have been a victim of paper erasure with this black, African American, colored, Negro, we are just, our ancestors don't know us by any of that. They only know us by our tribes. Choctaw, Chickasaw, Muskogee, Cherokee, Blackfoot, Yamasee, Geechee, Mohegan, Mohawk, Chapalootas. There's so many tribes. The Chapalootas, there's so many tribes. Like so many tribes. But if you don't know your tribe and you don't know who you are, like Marcus Garvey said, and he was an agent, you're like this tree right here without roots. You're like this tree without roots. And we're connected to the trees, the sun, the moon, and the stars. I just want to end this live by saying tonight is a big eclipse, the full moon. We're going to have one, because it started yesterday, so the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Then there's another one coming on the 29th, okay? Our ancestors was into the moon. So do your full moon rituals, be a part of that eclipse, because see, every time you'll be a part of it, it shifts your frequencies to the next level, and you're getting closer to your ancestors and your higher ancestry. That's why my ancestors, they vibrate through me. You know, I don't go back and forth with mentally ill. Most of my family, most of my people, my son, all of them, they're mentally ill. They all took the jab. They all believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E, believe in these politrics, AKA politricians, okay? We are under colonization. We are being colonized no matter what you think. If you got a Lamborghini, if you're in the music industry, you got a mansion, you got 12 bathrooms like Will Smith, another clone, okay? You got 12 and 13 bathroom, it means nothing because you got to come back here. Okay, you got to come back here because you didn't get it right. And your ancestors are not pleased. They are pleased with Buy American Indian Star Strike, who is on this live feed. They are pleased with Chieftainess Iskatani Harapushkik Tak Omi, which means little butterfly under the what? Moonlight. So I will be under the moonlight tonight doing my full moon ritual and experiencing that amazing eclipse so I can get to the next level by walking barefoot. It's called earthing, grounding yourself, by stargazing with your eyes closed, getting that sun because the sun is your God, okay? Because without the sun, you don't exist. By hugging these trees, hug a tree, tell a tree you love it, hugging the trees and taking off your shoes and standing by the tree creates a 777 frequency. That part, okay? Everything is from our ancestors. They were connected to the sun, the moon, the stars, and Mother Earth. They was not religious. Religion was forced upon them, okay? So that's what the problem is. Most of our family is believing in Jesus. Like I told you, he never shows up. He's never shown, only Jesus and only the Chicos Jesus. Because I don't know one brother or sister that they name their children. They love Jesus so much, but they never name their children Jesus. Why is that? Why is that? Thank you, Jesus. Jesus is this. And they don't name their children Jesus. But the Chicos name their children Jesus. It's not G because there's no G. And Jesus is the war of destruction, and he's the God of war and destruction, which is Zeus. That's who Jesus is. They took off the Z, gave it a J because they know they can brainwash you. Our people are the most emotional people on the planet. I mean, your own family. I remember a time in the 60s and the 70s when people was voting, they didn't go hard. They didn't care if you voted for it. It didn't matter. They could care less. To say something ignorant like, oh, Trump is going to put us back 100 years. 100 years ago, shout out to my shout out to my aunt, my grandfather's sister, Dada. She and them had their own land. They had acres of land. They grew their own food. They had their own tractor trailer. So you guys are ignorant when you say he's going to put us back 100 years. 100 years, we had it better than we have it now. We're all under colonization. We're being colonized whether you like it or not. You're modern day slaves with modern technology. This apparatus that I'm holding and speaking and talking to you through, you can't do anything without it. Before there was a telegram. If somebody passed, you sent a telegram and they would know that the person passed. If you needed to send money to somebody, it was Western Union. Now all the apps got Telegram. Everything that we did, they're turning it. But the whole system is going to fall because our ancestors are here. And I'm just a recycled ancestors, feathers up from my ancestors. And our ancestors are pleased. When you're doing this work that I'm doing, like Malcolm X said, he told y'all that it didn't matter back in the 60s who you voted for, that it was a charade and a scam, and they just make false promises and they just out to hurt you. There's nothing on the agenda for us. Nothing for any of us. We made it a little better with Trump. Gas was down, rent, food was down, and all that. But this is our land. This is not the American government. This is not our land. This is not their land. This is our land. Just like South Africa fought for their land, we're going to continue to fight for ours because we're going to get it. Because American corporation is up. Their time is up, and they know it. They're lying about the borders. The gig is up. So if you found this video useful with enough information, share it, subscribe, and like, because we rise and we rise and we rise. We're in the age of truth and enlightenment and exposure. Next month, there's going to be a whole bunch of exposure. We're rising up, and they're going down. And we will get our land back. We will, because we're not going to stop. And our ancestors is with us. Make it a great day so you can love yourself and others can love you. And I am Chieftainess Iskatani Hadapushkik Nitak Omi of the Hachinotakni Yamasi Creek Chart. And Iskatani Hadapushkik Nitak Omi means little butterfly under the what? Moonlight. See you under the moonlight tonight for that big, amazing eclipse. And don't forget, the 29th is another powerful full moon. This is what we did. We are connected to the cosmos. 9 ether beings. All you that took that jab, you're no longer part of it, of the legacy and the heritage. I don't care what job. You didn't have to take that jab. It was only given to you to change your DNA to mRNA. And it was only given to you because they had agenda depopulation 500 million, and they got their million. They totally got it. So thank you for watching. Shout out to Buy American Indian Star Strike. Much love and light, and continue to be greatness, because we are greatness. Nanaya, Nanaya, Aya, Wado, Halachapi, Salachiki. Much love and light. All right.